Raiders and Las Vegas seem to fit well together. Even though they haven't been good for a long time, the Raiders have a place in football lore. And, you got that new stadium last night, and you still go back to the Raiders, and there's something about the colors, something about that name, the history. Go back to the 70s. I mean, this isn't the bad boy Raiders that we had back then. Derek Carr isn't exactly Kenny the Snake Stabler, but here they are. Could you imagine the Raiders of the 70s in Las Vegas? Oh, boy. The Raiders opened their new stadium with an impressive win over the Saints last night, and they've got some young stars there. Josh Jacobs, the tight end, Darren Waller's a great story. And the defense responded because I looked at what the numbers were. 17-7 second quarter, the Saints were leading, and then the Raiders dominated. At that point, they outscored New Orleans 27-7. They had the ball twice as long as the Saints did, and they had 8 more first downs. And the Saints, usually it's the Raiders who are known historically as the team with penalty issues. The Saints had 10 penalties last night and 89 penalty yards against their defense. But give credit to the Raiders. They won a game on the road against Carolina, came back home, beating a good Saints team. But the question is not about, or the discussion is not about the Raiders today. It somehow was about Drew Brees. That apparently Drew Brees got older last night. If they had won that game, would anybody be talking about Drew Brees and his arm strength or lack thereof? Now, you know where I stand on it. Love Brees, but I saw maybe not as sharp a quarterback as we've seen in previous years. Now, he got injured last year, did come back and had a respectable second half of the season. But as they go, I think the Saints are going to go. And last night, they were up 17-7. He threw a bad interception at the end of the first half. And Drew Brees and the Saints, that was a game I thought, the way they started out, that they were going to roll over the Raiders. Here's Drew Brees on the team just not being in sync.
Are we totally in sync right now? No, we're not. We're not even close to what we are capable of. Not even close. We did some good things tonight early on, but it just wasn't enough for the few opportunities we had. We need to take better advantage of that.
Now, I don't know if he gets younger next week, because if Brees throws for 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, then apparently he'll get younger, right? Because right now it feels like, you get to a certain age and then you're too old. But if you play well, then it's like, fountain of youth. Don't count him out. Drew Brees is still a very good quarterback. Do I think he's a top 5 quarterback? No, but who cares about, rankings? He's going to have to be a game manager here, because you didn't have Michael Thomas last night. Let's not forget about that. Best receiver in the game. You still had Alvin Kamara. I mean, if you look at Brees' numbers, they're not pedestrian. He did okay last night. It was just he had a bad interception. Alvin Kamara is still a dangerous player, but that Saints defense, they got manhandled there. That was the big surprise. John Gruden loves Derek Carr, and he wants to let you know that he loves Derek Carr, and he keeps reminding us that he loves Derek Carr. So here's John Gruden telling you how much he loves Derek Carr.
He had 9 different flankers last year. 9. When I was here for 4 years, and we had Tim Brown every week for 4 years. 1. We've had I don't know how many different combinations on the offensive line. Yet, he threw for over 4,000 yards and 70%. Put us in a position to make the playoffs in Week 15. This guy's a great quarterback, and we're surrounded him with better players.
Okay. I know that he keeps telling us about this guy, but then this is also the same organization that went out and signed Marcus Mariota. They flirted with Tom Brady, bringing him in, and they did host Kyler Murray prior to the draft because, from what I'm told, they were going to go up and get him. In fact, I was sworn to secrecy that I wouldn't say that John Gruden was infatuated with Kyler Murray. This was at the time, getting close to the draft. And I had somebody with the Raiders who said, look, John loves Kyler, but you're not allowed to broadcast that. Because I had hinted about it, and I had heard from somebody, and they said, look, he really loves him. And I said, are you going to go up and get him? And he goes, I wouldn't rule it out. So I know that John loves Kyler Murray. They talked about Tom Brady. They brought in Marcus Mariota. Derek Carr has been a very good quarterback, and then he regressed a little bit. I think there were whispers after he broke his leg that, was he going to be the same kind of quarterback? But he's there, and he put up good numbers last night. Here's Derek Carr after the win.
This organization means everything to me. They've stuck behind me through some hard times, through some times our team, we struggled. There's no doubt about it. But when you can get on the other side of things, be 2-0 as the Las Vegas Raiders, that's a pretty cool thing,
It is. And he does have the talent, but I don't know if that organization was all in with Derek Carr. Because I thought you go to a new stadium, and from what I was told, they were all in on trying to get Kyler Murray to have him as their quarterback when they were going into that new stadium, that they wanted to create a buzz. Now, how they were going to pull that off, I have no idea. But that's good for Derek Carr to kind of survive. Looking at Drew Brees, in weeks 11 through 17 last year, 22 touchdowns, 1 interception. He completed 75% of his passes, and he won 6 of 8 games. Now, was he old? Because in weeks 1 and 2, he threw 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Then he got hurt his thumb. So I don't know, was he old last year? If he throws 3 touchdowns next week, is he still old? Is there still question marks there? Is he going to be a deep ball thrower? No, he's not. But that doesn't mean he still can't be a great quarterback. What's wrong, McLevin?
He's such a check down Charlie now, though, going against the other check down Charlie last night. I mean, it just feels like this short passing. I mean, eventually our defense is going to jump those routes.
Yeah, that's what I've always thought. That's when you go back to their game against the Rams and, Brees threw that interception, and the Rams ended up winning that game. And, I've had questions about his arm strength for quite some time, but Phillip Rivers has never had a strong arm. It had nothing to do with him getting older. It was just he never had a really strong arm. I think that is going to come back to haunt the Saints at some point, their inability to throw deep. But if you have Kamara and you have Michael Thomas, and if the defense plays well, that's obviously that team is on the short list of those who are going to, maybe go to the Super Bowl this year. Yeah, McLevin.
Same question for Derek Carr. So they get Henry Ruggs and they throw to him. They actually got a PI at the very end of the game on him, but they don't throw deep at all.
No, and I was surprised because I thought that's why you go out and get Ruggs, because you want to stretch the field in Raider fashion, throwing the ball deep. But I think they got to get a little more comfortable. You got a quality running back. You got a quality tight end. I got to work Ruggs in there. And you're just starting here. Like, the overreaction is that maybe the Raiders are better than we thought, and that Drew Brees has suddenly got too old to be the quarterback for the Saints.